OnePlus has always been popular with the enthusiast Android community, but a bit underrated when it comes to mainstream appeal. The OnePlus 12R is proof of that, as it's a great value phone that goes unnoticed by a lot of people. It's the smaller brother of the OnePlus 12, and while it may not be as impressive on paper, it's easily the better value. One of the major differences between the two OnePlus phones is the CPU. The 12R uses a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor, while the 12 uses the newer Gen 3 chip. On the standard OnePlus 12, you get a new Adreno 750 GPU, while the 12R uses the Adreno 740. We'll get to how that affects performance later, but it's not as big of a gap as you'd expect. Design-wise, this phone has a curved glass back, a thin aluminum frame, and an IP64 water resistance rating. These are elements you'd find on a high-end flagship, not a budget phone. The circular camera module is huge, but this has become somewhat of a staple with OnePlus phones. It's a massive phone that's around the same size as a 15 Pro Max, but slightly lighter at 207 grams. As for the display, we have a 6.78-inch 120Hz AMOLED with a resolution of 1264 by 2780 pixels. It has a high pixel density and features LTPO4, meaning it can dynamically adjust the refresh rate from 1 Hz to 120 Hz. This feature saves a lot on battery life. The phone also features support for 10-bit color and Dolby Vision. Games and media that support HDR will look great on this display, and the high brightness definitely helps. Moving on to performance, the base model has 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, and the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip I mentioned earlier. Unfortunately, this is a slightly older chip, but it's still last year's flagship chip that's very capable. It runs demanding gaming titles such as Genshin Impact, Fortnite, and Grid Autosport very well. These are all big-budget titles that are graphically intensive, so you could throw any game at this phone without worrying about performance. However, it's not just about raw performance. The stereo speakers and the stunning display add a lot of immersion to your games, and the automatic gaming mode feature optimizes the CPU and GPU for the best possible experience. This phone also features a robust cooling system that prevents the Snapdragon chip from overheating. On top of that, the 5500 mAh battery gives this phone all-day battery life, and you can top it up in 30 minutes thanks to the 80-watt fast charger that comes in the box. As for software, both of these phones run Android 14 with the Oxygen OS interface on top of it. While this software skin is a bit different from the stock Android experience, there are no gimmicky features or bloatware that ruin the experience. Unfortunately, the downside is that you'll only get 3 years of guaranteed software updates. Other phones, such as the Pixel 8a, give you 7 years of guaranteed support. As for the camera system, you get a 50-megapixel main sensor, an 8-megapixel ultrawide, and a 2-megapixel macro sensor. While the main sensor is great and competes with the likes of the Galaxy S24, the ultrawide and macro sensors aren't all that sharp or detailed. It's still a great phone for quick pictures, but other phones in this department do better. The Nothing Phone 2a and the Pixel 8a are fierce competitors to the 12R. The Pixel 8a has better software support, cameras, and AI features, while the Nothing Phone 2a is the most stylish and cheapest of the bunch. However, the OnePlus has faster charging, better battery life, and louder speakers. So, while the 12R could have a better camera system and longer software support, it's still a great package. It might not be the all-round best phone, but it's certainly the best gaming phone in this price category. To sum up, what I like is the excellent performance for the price, the fantastic battery life and super fast charging, and the premium fit and finish. On the downside, lackluster software support and ultra-wide and macro cameras are disappointing. Ratings: Design, 8 out of 10. Performance, 8.5 out of 10. Display, 8.5 out of 10. Software, 7 out of 10. Cameras, 7.5 out of 10. Value, 9 out of 10. For an overall rating of 8 out of 10.